then the
totally
one
stole
like
it. Yeah.
pushing back, and then like that was like Harry Potter should be
given lots of credit.
They should
to
be
the
given
Phantom.
some credit to this movie because that's what happened.
That is literally exactly the same thing.
And he fucking blew up. He just became flames. Just boom. Just done.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I can't help thinking, somewhere in the universe, there has to be something better than man. Has to be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascension to 10.
All right. Here we are.
There
We're back. Oh man,
back.
who's this? Who's this guy?
It's Bry.
Who's this guy here?
I'm here.
We've got a special episode. As you might have heard in the last week's episode, Jad is out of commission for a little bit, but I have an excellent replacement man to fill the shoes. You've heard him before.
Oh,
It's
I can
Bry.
fill those shoes.
Oh hell yeah!
That's a lie.
We'll see. I don't know. It might take
can't.
both of us to fill those shoes. So
Yeah.
sometimes Jad really goes off some. You might not have as much in-depth like scientific analysis of movies.
Definitely do not.
We'll do what we can. But
No.
yes, Bry is here with me today, and we're excited. We're gonna try to do this episode as a trio. Things happen. One guy has a kid, and things blow up.
Yeah.
What you gonna do?
Can't
But
do much.
thanks for being on, Bry.
Yeah, of
Appreciate it.
course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
One of the things I was talking to Bry because I was texting him and be like, hey, Jad's out, so like, would you still want to do the movie with me or talk about on the episode? And he's like, yeah, of course. He's like, well, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know if I can fill those shoes. But I was like, don't worry, man, we've got lots to talk about. Jad's not here. We've got things to discuss from our past.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the summer before we both graduated college. So we spent that whole summer together.
We really did.
Yeah. Jad was actually in Boston. He was totally out of the picture doing some science things. So we were like just getting to it.
Some Midwest boys just
Midwest
toying
boys.
around. Midwest boys toying.
It was basically the last summer before we had to quote grow up. Like I had an apartment and I had an internship that I worked 2 days a week. So I had 5 days to just
I remember.
do whatever I wanted. Like, what kind of internship is that? Like it was, but it kind of culminated with, we did this every Wednesday. We would do this ladies' night.
The ladies' night at Bracco.
Ladies' night. Every
so stupid. No, you know what? It wasn't stupid. That was foundational. That was like just a one-way ticket to the jungle. That's what that was. It really was, because like, and especially at that age, like we were both single. We were graduating college, so 22.
Yeah, 21, 22. I mean, we had just
fresh.
Yeah.
We were fresh, and we didn't know how the bar scene jungle worked. Yeah, really, and all that well anyway. Not outside of like our college group, So like, Sioux Falls, we'd go to this place, and
I mean, we drove like 20. It was like 20 minutes away. Like it, we didn't live close to it, so it was we really had to make a trip for it.
We did. And you make sure you dress in your, I forget what the dress was at that point in time. I don't know.
I don't even know. It was probably.
We don't need to go there because I don't really remember.
It was probably an Obey
Obviously,
t-shirt.
It was forgettable. Yeah.
My buckled jeans. I was probably wearing 7 for All Mankind or whatever.
Well, and for me, I was like, if it was tail into college, then I was band boy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know,
tight
so
jeans,
I probably had like my
super
skinny
tights.
jeans.
Oh hell yeah.
I don't know. Probably a V-neck. I would guess. Probably a pretty deep V.
Yeah.
Maybe a
V.
beanie. It's tough to say. But yeah, I mean, we would go to this place, and it was called Ladies' Night because ladies drank half price.
Right.
The whole
and
night.
then we would always go to pay full price.
You know, it was for the ladies, but the dudes would go.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't really remember it all that. Like, I don't remember, but I feel as though it was Ladies' Night. But a lot of times there were a lot more dudes there than there were.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, the joke is like, we went to this Ladies' Night every Wednesday, and we always just left as a gang of guys. We just went home. Like, there was no like game. There was nothing happening. Like, it was, we'd all get drinks, and then one person happened to be sober, and they would drive us home, and the rest of us would get a ride back. But it was just
a lot of ladies' nights. We'd go in hopeful, and we walk out
just empty-handed,
but heads high, as a gang of boys.
That's right, gang of
boys that survived a night in the jungle. That's all it was. I do remember that. Gosh, that's just like, I don't know. I don't even know how that game. I don't know. We've been married for so long. I don't even know how that game was played. You know, I don't even want to.
I don't even want to try it anymore. We're way beyond that.
I don't know what I would have loved. I would love to go back and be able to just observe myself in my ways of like subtle peacocking or not so subtle peacocking, like to try and get the attention that I didn't get because we always left as a group of boys.
Yeah,
a clan, a boy group.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was
awesome.
Something. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to talk about from that summer is the softball tournament in Marion.
Gosh, I completely forgot about that.
So Brian was in a band, Avian. He's there, and he has a band. Yeah, Avian Sunrise at the time. So it was all him and some buddies from USD. But they had you had a concert in Marion, and then you had one of your bandmates whose family lived in Marion. So the next day Brock. There was supposed to be a big softball tournament. It's like a drinking softball tournament where, you know, he assembled this super team, and so we stayed the night at Brock's parents' house. The next morning, you know,
it's all coming back.
Yeah, we load up. We load up on just as much beer as you can fill in the fridge, and we start playing softball, and we just are crushing everybody.
How many games did we play in a row that we just crushed?
There was like 5 or 6 games where like we absolutely annihilated everybody. There was one time Brian just walks into the dugout, shotguns a beer, walks out, hits a home run, and just walks back in and takes another beer. It was just like complete mayhem. But we played all those 6 games, and everyone's just drinking, pounding beers, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, now the tournament starts," and we're like, "What?"
Yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, this was to establish like what the ratings were."
Yeah, they were like, it was like a round robin type thing or something. Yeah. I don't remember exactly what terminology they used, but it was like, yeah, I remember it because we were just on a hot streak, and we were all getting just shitty.
Well, that was the best part because the second they said the tournament started, we all just left.
We did.
The team was so wasted.
For some reason, I feel like we went back to Brock's place and Brock napped.
Yeah, like, I think we all took a nap.
We all took a nap. Yeah, because it started early in the. It was like late morning, right? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was probably like 8 or 9 in the morning that we did that.
But we were totally blasted by like noon, and then they were like, "The tournament's starting now."
Yep, that's right. But it was just funny because there was like I knew 3 of you guys, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll come for sure. Why not?" And it was just I don't know. I wouldn't be able to survive
some small,
now,
it was some small town happenings.
Stuff. Yeah.
But it was so fun though, and kind of it was really late decision. I think we played that show, and then it was like, "Hey, you want to come play a softball tournament?" Sure.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. That was really funny.
Yeah.
But that was that same summer.
Yeah, that was that same summer. It was just like it was this nonstop summer because we went to your lake house. That's the weekend we got. You almost got punched by the guy driving the truck away. We lost me on a gravel road.
Yep.
It was an epic summer.
That might have been like, I don't know. Yeah, that's like that's the summer with the most interesting stories, I think, from that time period for sure.
It was summer of the Bois. I kept playing Dangerous Summer on repeat. It was like one of their big albums. It had a sun. It had a tree on it with the light shining through.
No,
Reach for the sun. That makes it. Yeah, just had that on repeat. So
man, I remember. So epic. Do you remember? Was that the same summer that we went and did disc golfing at Big Sioux Rec?
Yeah, it probably is because I bought frisbee golfs
and we rode tandem bikes.
I don't remember if we did. Maybe I don't remember tandem bikes.
Tell me more. Maybe you sat this one out. Maybe this was one of the 2 days a week that you had your internship or something. couldn't hack it. Sorry, bud.
I had to cut out.
Yeah, that for sure happened. We packed up a bunch of beers and 4 of us rode tandem bikes down.
That sounds amazing. I wish I was a part of that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, the Big Sioux. Well, for any of the listeners who aren't from the Midwest, the Big Sioux Rec disc golfing course is apparently part of the PDGA. The pro.
Oh, really?
Pro disc. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Legit.
At the time. This is
15 years ago.
This is 10, 15 years ago. Some time has passed. It may have fallen out of the circuit.
Out of favor.
But when we first went there, it was wild. Like that course was cut for the big boys, not for us. Lost a lot of dicks in that high weeds. Fucked a lot of them. Lost a lot of them.
I can't believe because we went and played frisbee golf quite a bit that summer, and I remember going to Shields to get frisbee golf discs. I still have them in my garage, and I don't think I've played since that summer.
They're still in the back of my car, actually, like in the back seat, sitting on the seat. They're just sitting there. Usually they're in the little pocket. Yeah, but I've played like maybe I think once since I moved out to North Carolina back in 2017. Yeah, I got some good courses out here, but
it's just kind of keep me. Yeah, it's just one of those things where finding time for it or other things. You're going surfing, so that's one of the things you do now.
Yeah, now it's surfing. I can't be hucking dicks. I gotta be catching waves.
Hucking dicks.
That's what you say.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Anyways, what was the movie we were going to talk?
We're doing Phantom today. So this was Billy Zane, and most people are gonna know Billy Zane from the Titanic. He's the dickhead on that ship who's trying to get Rose to marry him and try to screw over Jack. Yep. So Billy Zane is the main character. He spent an entire year getting in shape for this. You know how in Marvel now it's 3 months, you take steroids or whatever you got to do and you're just ripped. Billy Zane had to take a full year to get into shape for this, and
he was in shape. That dude was,
he looked good. One of the things they said is like they started making the suit before he started bulking up because they were worried like if he doesn't make enough weight, we're just gonna have to make the suit big. Like replicate muscles on it and stuff. And he showed up and they're like, oh, you don't need this. Like, we'll just put some skin tight stuff on you and you're good to go.
Yeah. Wow.
And so
it's impressive.
He looked good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he looked real good.
Yeah. The only other thing is so the Phantom, this character, he wears a purple latex kind of mask thing with a black mask on his eyes.
Yeah.
And then he had pants. I think they were purples too.
Oh yeah.
But in the it's based off a what's the comic, and he was supposed to have striped pants like Kroll. You know those striped pants from Kroll?
Yeah.
It was the exact same kind of pants that are in the comic. But they decided that it didn't photograph well on the film, so they went with more of a flat color. Matched. So
interesting.
But this was a total bomb. $45 million budget, $17 million at the box office. Just didn't do well.
You can tell though, like I'm not great with actors and actresses' names. Like name retention is not always the best for me. But as I was watching it today, I was like, I recognize that person. I know that person. Like it was like a pretty stacked film.
Yeah, it was a bunch of actors that you know, but you don't know, like Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like I was like, word, I didn't no idea you were in this.
Yep.
But like if you see the characters, you'd be like, oh, I recognize that actor.
Yep.
But not necessarily like by name, but like you had seen them in different works and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, it was a pretty star-studded group. It was actually supposed to be the first of a trilogy.
Oh man,
surprisingly, but since it bombed. The other two got the axe.
Yeah.
So what you can do? The other thing is they do have this big like mansion part. That there's a big party of a bunch of wealthy people. And it was actually the Playboy Mansion that they had in it. So
really,
yeah, it's based in New York, but Playboy Mansion was the scene. So
that's wild.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I thought. I could just tell that they put a lot of budget into it. The effects, all of it. But I think I just was like, it was like a combination. I don't think the acting was terrible. I think I felt like, what is this? Because it started in the jungle.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's by like horseback.
Well,
and like all this, and like this car dropping from a bridge, but then it was like New York, and then it was like mafia, whatever. It just had this weird, like disjointed, like style. It'd be like taking, for me as a musician, like writing a verse that was like pop punk. And then slapping a hip hop like chorus on it, and then going back to pop punk, and then the bridge is an acoustic rock song. It doesn't make any sense. It didn't. It felt really. That's
actually like a perfect analogy to it. Yeah.
It felt really disjointed to me, but it wasn't that like I understood the plot. The plot was fine. It was like what they used to support the plot in terms of like. Collecting these skulls. This guy wants to try and use them for evil. You find out later this guy actually has the ring that is the fourth that can beat these three things, but you don't find that out to them. That's a cool little twist. But like it just how they filled it in terms of like the action scenes, the dialogue, the places, the whatever. It just was like really really
well, so the one thing I was thinking of is like Black Panther. So it's like, it's a different world, like the world itself, like the island.
Yep.
And then they go to the real world and there's like this coexisting, and like they do a good job of like kind of meshing how those work. But this one is totally disconnected because you never got to see them like travel back and forth really between these two places.
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's a tropical island, so it has to be thousands of miles away from New York City. Like there's no way that it's close to anything.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like, the Phantom guy is in New York City like the next day, and you're like, what? Like, how does this is like 1938 is the time, so it's not like you're on a supersonic jet or something. Like, how are you getting to all these places?
I was gonna say, I know, well, usually I know we like to pick these things apart from like the movie from front to back, but while you're talking about the impossibilities of him just skipping from New York to an island really quick, can we talk about him like riding on the pontoon like the floaty part of the plane, hanging on it like all the way from they flew from New York to
they're going up to like
30,000
feet, and he's probably just holding on to it. Not only would he like freeze to death, like there's no air up there. You can't breathe up there.
I don't know. Yep. Yeah, it was like stuff like that. Like even still, what I will say is I enjoyed it because the further we get away from the 90s, the more any film from then, even if it just doesn't make a lot of sense, there's just still something that's so nostalgic. Like they were really going for something big with that. Like that budget's massive.
Yeah, I mean, you and I kind of talked about like we all remember this movie. We don't really remember anything particular about it, but we just remember like, oh yeah, I remember this movie. Like whether it was the trailer or whatever it was, like we all have this, we all knew it. Like even the fact that we probably didn't watch it, but
I was going to ask you,
feeling
have you ever seen it?
I thought I had seen it, but when I kept watching it, I was like, God, I don't remember any of this. So maybe it was just I did see it, but I
have never seen it, and I know that with confidence level 100%. But I do know that I saw that trailer.
Oh yeah,
500,000 times. Like I don't remember what stations. It was like on
so
I don't know,
ridiculous.
It was on Fox. It was on like any channel that I was trying to watch something that I was trying to watch. That commercial was playing for sure.
Yeah. I do want to. So the first scene, like the start of this movie, before you even get into the movie, there's just a title card that comes up and it says, "For those of you that came in late." Like they kept that in there for this movie. Like I understand from like a theater, but it was like,
oh, I missed that entirely.
Why?
That's amazing.
What is the point of this? Like, why are we even having that?
Yeah.
And then it leans and it goes right into this, like they're driving this truck and there's these two bad guys and then there's this little kid in the middle. And like the first act of like being a bad guy is the dude literally is trying to smoke the little 8-year-old kid in the face with his elbow. And I was like, okay, this is really setting the movie up.
No, he took like a full swing at that kid. Like that would have, he would be asleep for a while. That was a hard elbow that he threw. I was a little taken aback by that, but
and then
different times.
But then the next part is like they get to the bridge that you mentioned, like this rickety old bridge, and so all these guys are on this truck, and they're like, I don't want to die. Let's send the 8-year-old kid in this giant truck across and we'll walk across. And so, I mean, it spends like 2 or 3 minutes on this kid just driving this truck slowly across a bridge just to get across. And then it's like, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
It's just like, why is
not even a thank you?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Stupid little kid.
But oof.
Yeah. But right after that, they find the first skull, and all of a sudden you start hearing these drums, and then all these animals just like start making noise. Yeah. And then you're like, you see like this guy put this mask on, and then you're like, okay, all right, here it comes. And then, I mean, it's just a guy in a full suit with a mask riding a white horse in a jungle, and he somehow has a wolf. Like, wolves don't live on islands. I don't think they do. But it was like, what's happening?
Yeah, we can't know specifically what is going on in this.
That's an example of the disconnect you talked about.
The disconnect. Like if you really think about it, and these aren't things like especially going into movies like this, I try not to sit and just like pick apart, like just tear into it, but there's a certain threshold, I feel like, where you cross from like sensical to nonsensical.
Yeah.
In a way that's like, this is not helping. This is not even campy. This is just like, what are you doing?
What? At one point, the Phantom is saving a girl from a boat, and they're flying an airplane, and somehow the wolf runs to a horse and like growls at the horse and is communicating with the horse. Be like, hey, you really need to run because the Phantom is going to need you to catch him because their plane is running out of fuel and they're going to jump on your back. It's like a conversation between two animals.
Yeah. Can we talk about, but again, can we talk about the impossibility of a horse running faster?
Oh, absolutely.
It was outrunning the red plane.
It was out in front. It was outrunning the Red Baron plane.
That's not
That's not possible. I mean, a plane it had to at least be going 100 miles an hour, if not more, just to keep up. And there's this horse coming faster.
Oh, and then also, but I thought that, you know, for as chivalrous as they made him seem, he wasn't like, here, let me help you. I will help you down onto the horse. He was like, deuces, jumps down onto the horse and is like, all right, come on,
jump down.
Jump down on a horse that I'm already on.
Yes.
Jump like into the front of me, or let me catch you.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The plane is literally is out of fuel, or almost out of fuel. And his thought is, I'm going to jump on the horse first.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can jump on the back, or I'll catch you. Maybe. I mean, if the plane's still up, who knows?
Yeah, I just that part kind of made me laugh. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. You look out for yourself first, for sure, and then let her jump on after.
One of the other parts too is like, so Catherine Zeta-Jones is kind of like this bad girl on the thing, but when the Phantom comes in to like rescue this girl that's been captured by the bad guys, Catherine Zeta-Jones kind of like watching her, and then the Phantom comes in, and like Catherine Zeta-Jones' like first reaction is to like try and make out with him, and he was just like, "Get the hell away from me!" It was just
just wanted to show Catherine Zeta-Jones getting some action.
It was just like, "Oh, okay, sure." But yeah, that was
yeah. I think funny. I think I deduced that she had a secret love for this guy, Kit.
Yeah,
that was never going to come to fruition, and.
Well, it kind of left you wondering, like, do you think they actually ended up together at the end? Because, like, the last scene is, you know, after all of this happens, Phantom, quote, saves her, and he takes his thing off because, you know, he says, I can only show myself to my one true love, and then they kiss, and then she's like, oh, I'm getting on the airplane.
Yeah, like, what if I deny you? So I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, see ya. So that's
then that's it. I don't know, that I would assume, based on what you said at the beginning of this, that they were setting up the next movie.
Well, yeah, and now that makes more sense. But
yeah,
at the time, like, if you didn't, I didn't know that. I didn't know that ahead of time. So that's when my note was like, so how do we know? Like, it seems like she kind of just played him. Like, oh, sorry.
But,
but yeah. But so the bad guy's name is Xander Drax. Like, he is this thug you're talking about per se, but he's like the nicest thug I've ever seen, like any mafia guy, because he's kind of just like, ha ha ha, like, what? We do business together, and I own all this stuff, so you have to do what I say.
Yeah,
but
I guess there is like a kind of like a sociopathic, like, I don't even know, like, he was so jolly that I was like, this dude actually doesn't really care about anything. He doesn't have any feeling whatsoever. Like, but I kept thinking to myself, like, I get it. He's probably pretty high up on the chain if he's got command over like mafia dudes or whatever. Sure. And I'm sure that they can figure out how to dispose of bodies. But I was like, you can't just in an office building throw a spear and kill somebody.
Well, then just like was just like the over the top part. That's the second one.
But the first one with the guy,
the librarian.
Yeah, the librarian, and he makes him like focus on. He says, "Here, look into this microscope. Tell me what you see." Oh, I can't see anything. Oh, twist the focus knob. So he twists it, and just as it comes into focus, a slide in there says "liar." And then through the two eye hole things, these knife things go up, which we only knew that happened because they showed it. Yeah. He was fucking with it before the librarian came in. You see him just twist it once and goes shing, and you're like, oh, someone's gonna die with that. For sure.
Yeah.
And then he's like, hey, while you're here, why don't you check what's in the microscope? And he's just like, okay.
Yeah, that was.
What is it? What does Drax do then? He just ring. Yep. I got a body up here. Someone just
get rid of him. Clean him out. I think one of the other funny parts too is so the Phantom, after the first skull is taken from this island he's on, it's called Bagala or something.
Yeah.
He magically is in New York City the next day.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any currency of any kind. He just hands current like dollar bills from Bagala, the island, and he's like to a taxi driver, and the driver's like, "Hey, what's this?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then he just hands him a giant handful of rubies and jewels, and is like, "Here you go. Like this should be enough to cover me for the whole day. Don't worry about it. They're real. Don't worry. It's fine. Like I'm a big deal."
Yeah.
But nobody knows who I am. But then like, so Kit, his name's Kit Walker. He goes in, he's meeting with the girl he saved, who turns out to be like a good friend of his from the past. Yep. Like he's been gone for a while because he's been on this island. And they're like, we're trying to understand about these skulls. We're kind of uncovered this thing that one of them's gone, and we're looking for these two other ones. They're made of different. The one's gold, one's silver, and one's jade. And like the boyfriend or something of this girl that he saved is just like, you know what? So I had this birthday party when I was like 8. And we were in this place, and you know what it was? It was the Museum of Natural History, and there's one there. Like it was at my birthday party. It was just like, I guess we're going to the Natural Museum. Here we go.
Yeah, it's like stuff like that was just like. I mean, I get you're trying to move the plot along, but that's the clue.
Yeah.
Oh. Like that, I don't know. Stuff like that was kind of. It's still cheesy and fun. Like,
well, I know all this stuff is funny. Like,
yeah,
I know it's not a good movie, but it was like that kind of stuff is just like, where did they even think of that? Like, the normal plot development, like thinking of a kid's birthday party to think of
where the others go. These are like very dangerously powerful things, and I don't know. Also, I guess maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but do we even know how Drax came about knowing about the 3 skulls?
He the only thing that we learned is that there is this brotherhood, that people have this like spider thing tattoo, and he somehow got connected with them or learned like the lore of these skulls. And he was trying to prove out if it's real or not. And then they found that first one, and then more got really excited about it.
Yeah.
But once they get to this museum, because Kit and these other guys are like, oh, we're going to go to the museum. And Drax is like there too.
Yeah.
And, Kit is like complaining about the fact that they find the skull, and he's like, it's on the wrong century, in the wrong hemisphere. Cause it's like with a royal, like a Roman like king or something holding and then all of a sudden Drax is there, and he just is loving the shattered glass.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like okay, so this scene was really funny to me because this would be the second skull, and I thought it was like when Kit sees that it's in this wrong time, he says it's in the wrong whatever. All of a sudden, he just smashes the glass and just goes in and grabs it. Just plain day, doesn't matter. Does not have time to mess around with this. Grabs it and then just turns around and immediately, like, held at gunpoint. Drax is like, I'll take that.
Thank you.
Drax says, what does he say then? He says, there's cake and soda and something or whatever in the lobby, like kid, bring everybody your kids, get whatever, and everybody's like, woo, and they all just leave. So then it's just like Kit,
that's right,
his girl Diana, and then Drax and his cronies, and Drax then proceeds to pull those two things out, puts them together, and then it was just like 30 seconds of
it really was
the shittiest. Like, okay, when you think about something that's powerful enough to like blow out glass, you think like, and the glass just like shoots like this. it just was like all of whatever, all the stained glass, like
all
big
around it, yeah,
windows, whatever. They were just like, you could just tell. I don't know. They were just like cracked and fractured and just kind of like fell.
Yeah,
like,
no, it was. Yeah.
It lacked so much power. I was like, why are we seeing it? What?
It kind of felt like the glass and the sound effect didn't quite match because it was like just a barely break, and then you hear that. Like the glass really falling.
Yeah.
And then when the two skulls come together, it magically knows where the third one is, so it has to pinpoint you. Mm-hmm. So the come together, and then it's like trying to like control it a little bit, and then just like laser comes out, and there just happens to be a map, way up high in the sky, and it points to a specific spot in the ocean on an island, and it kind of just pierces a little hole in the map, and they're like,
that's where
we got to go.
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, here we go.
God, what I do want to say, Kit, when he, also his whole thing, like he's from the jungle,
right?
He's this phantom with this super powerful ring, clearly very powerful, as is revealed, has been powerful the whole time.
Yes. Never mentioned, like you see it at the beginning for like literally a millisecond.
Yep.
And then nothing.
Yep. But he then I could not get over every time that he drew his weapons, his guns. I just felt like he looked like such a pussy. He just looked he just didn't look good in them. Like he was just, I don't know how to, because I don't have guns. I could probably represent it. He was just like,
like it was very clunky.
Yeah, it was like clunky. Trying to get like when you see people like pull out guns and like,
he was really just cool. Like, it didn't help that I feel like every time he took his guns out, it was slow motion.
Yeah.
Like there's a part at the end, like the next part we'll get to, they get to this island, and every time he takes his guns out, but then he crosses his arms and starts shooting people. And like he keeps his arms crossed for like 5 or 6 shots each way. And it's just like, why? Like
what you doing?
It doesn't help. Like
nope.
Your aiming is worse. Like what I mean, it didn't even look cool. Like
it didn't. That's what I'm saying. That is case in point, and only further proves what I'm trying to say. He did not look. It didn't look superhero-esque at all that he had guns. He should have just had like a sword, or like knives. I don't know. It just like it made more sense. A guy like this phantom figure that like all these people from this.
Yeah, sound like samurai swords. Island. Double samurai swords.
Yeah, it's like these people from this island know him as the ghost walking.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And like, but he's got guns, but also like an all-powerful ring.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, it felt like they were drawing from a few different genres and like types of superhero narratives. And so it just felt a little disjointed, but it was funny. It was fun too. Like I appreciated it. The comedic.
Yeah,
I don't know. There was some pretty funny stuff in there.
So one of the things is after they find out what the map is, where this place is on the map, or like they know the location, so they're trying to find it on the map specifically.
Yeah. And
they find out it's called this place called Devil's Vortex. Like it's this island that no one's been able to get in, and it's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle. Like ships have always been sunk and stuff.
Yeah.
But Drax is leaving to go to the airport to fly off. And the whole time, like Phantom was trying to get in, and then he gets trapped, and Drax's henchmen like lock him in like I can't remember if it's like a mechanical room or something. And but as Drax is leaving, like the police commissioner's in his back pocket, so he's been paid off, and he's like, "We've got a police escort for you to go to the airport." And he's like, "Did you hear the good news? We're going to Devil's Vortex."
Yeah.
And then the old guy's just kind of like, like
Like,
doesn't know what that is.
Yeah. That's the thing that makes him like the jolliest villain. Yeah. The jolliest antagonist I've ever seen, that just like, I just don't know. Usually they've got a chip on their shoulder, or like something happened to them. We don't know anything. We don't know anything about him other than he just wants to be powerful and enjoys it.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no development with his character other than like he's singularly focused on the skulls right now.
Yeah.
So that was that they could have done something to at least help with development on that.
Yeah.
But eventually, Drax he's driving off to the airport, and the Phantom somehow figures out how to get out, and he's like jumping across cars and steals a police horse, and then he gets in chased by a hot pursuit by motorcycles, and the horse literally is jumping over a hedge, and all of a sudden the motorcycles jump over the hedge, and the horse is running faster than motorcycles. Like, so we have horses running faster than planes, and we have horses running faster than motorcycles.
And he gets there safe and sound. He successfully averted the cops. Crisis they're in.
There's one part where he goes to the zoo, but he stops at the zoo on his way.
That's right.
And like the police are chasing him, and they're just like, "Hey, what's that?" And the other guy's like, "Well, I think it's the zoo." And it's like, you don't know what the zoo is? Like, you don't know where the zoo is. But eventually, he gets out, and this is where Brian was talking about, like, he literally gets on the seaplane and like grabs onto it and just rides it the whole way to this island. And then right before they land, he just jumps off and sinks into the water and just kind of meanders his way.
Yeah. That whole trajectory, the whole him get like the police chase on the horse, all of it. I was just laughing through that. It was like one constant stream of chuckling from the point that he like got on, was jumping across the cars to the getting on the police horse to going to the zoo and somehow ditching the cops there. They got scared. They got spooked by a tiger.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Did he go in there and let out all the animals? Is that what happened? Like,
I
that
don't
was
know.
at the gate. That was the tiger was at the gate, of the zoo that was closed. So he went in there really quick and like whispered,
just open them all,
just whispered to the animals, and then because he's been able to speak to them.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Like he can talk to animals, so
I guess,
or he can teach them to talk to each other too.
And he also talks to his dad. Who can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah.
So 400 years ago, this Phantom character was
first
became brought. But as far as I know, unless I missed something, there is only his dad and him.
Well, yeah, they said there's been 20 of 200.
Them? Oh, there were 20 of them.
Yeah, they said there was 20.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
That was something that I wanted to say because I thought, I get it. Like they say that these guys are like invincible, and he's like, no, we're not invincible. My dad was whatever, and I was like, well, you're still 200 years old. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
none
of us are living that long.
Yeah, no, there was 20 of them, but I think his dad had been like there a long time or something, because he's obviously very old in it. So I assume that's when he died, because there is one of the bad guys has the belt of Phantom.
Yeah, the bad guy killed his dad.
It has a bullet hole in it, or a knife hole or something, and Kit sees it and he's like, holy crap, like that's my dad's. Like I thought this is the guy that killed my dad, so he eventually kills him. But it all just kind of like really picks up after this. Like they get to this island. The main guy from the Mortal Kombat movie is the leader of this like pirate tribe that's on this island that has
lives in a cave.
Just lives in a cave with sharks swimming through the channels in this cave.
They swim side by side around. It's really like does a disservice to sharks. Well, it was the Jaws era. Well, not really. I don't know. It's
But the best part is like, so this main bad guy is like a swordsman, and he's fighting the Phantom, and he's coming to attack the Phantom. He just grabs a chain and swings across, and the swordsman just, falls into the shark water and gets killed by sharks. And that's it.
That's it.
That was over.
Yeah,
I mean, they finally at some point we could finally get to see the ring work, right?
Yep.
So Drax gets the three skulls together because they get close enough where it just pulls out in the third
CGI
one.
of that was awesome. Yeah, they like hover up and they're like.
It feels like CGI back then was just, let's make things really fuzzy so you just think they're moving, and it just looks terrible.
Yeah, it looked pretty terrible, but I kind of loved it.
But then the three skulls come together and it makes a super laser, and Drax is gonna kill the Phantom, and the Phantom just whips that ring out. Turns out that ring is way more powerful than the three other skulls.
Yeah, can we talk about like, obviously J.K. Rowling and like that whole like the two colors going at it, and then the one
stole
like
it.
Pushing back, and then like that was like Harry Potter should be
given lots of credit.
They should be given some credit to this movie because that's what happened.
That is literally exactly the same thing.
And he fucking blew up. He just became flames. Just boom. Just done.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really funny, the two different colors.
That's such a great point. Yeah.
And I just the way that worked, and also at that point Drax's body was like he's like at an angle leaning down, like with the three skulls. He's like planking, like modern day invisible planking, but he was just like fully like and then he just blew up. And Catherine, can we talk about Catherine Zeta-Jones and her character? Just I was very proud of that. I was like, that girl's gonna flip. Like, she wouldn't have kissed Kit.
Tried to kiss Phantom.
Tried to kiss Phantom if she didn't have something. And then also I just felt like when she was like, us girls need to stick together, I was like, yeah, you're on the good side.
Yeah, she's come over. There's a part where like Drax is talking about they've captured Kit after they get the second skull, and they're like, we're gonna kill Kit, and she's like, well, leave the body for me. And it's like, whoa, what?
Missed that one.
What?
I missed that one entirely.
Yeah, it was. They were in the boardroom talking, or Drax was talking about throwing Kit off the observation deck, and then she was like, "Well, save his body for me." And I was like, "What? Weird."
Okay.
Anyways,
okay.
So she was a very interesting character, but in the end, she turned out very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, then after that the island blows up because the skulls were destroyed and a volcano erupts, and they're sitting on a submarine that magically was there, and they ride off into sunset, and the movie's over. So that was the Phantom.
That's the Phantom. I enjoyed watching it. I watched it with my sister-in-law, and she enjoyed it too.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Krull in a few aspects, but done in a funnier way. Maybe a tastier, or maybe it's just because it's newer. I don't know.
I think it's just because it's newer. I think that those two are very similar in like what they were going for. I think that did Zorro come out around the same time?
Yeah, because I think it was 97.
I know when I was younger, I got those two confused because Zorro wears the black mask or black thing with the hat, and then the bottom half of his face is exposed, and it's like, well, this guy's got this and the bottom half of his face and whatever, and I just felt like it was, I don't know, I think they probably borrowed a little from each other.
They may have.
Maybe it's just the time period.
It was, it all came out at the same time, so could have been just that phase. I think there was a lot of masked crusaders at that time, so we'll see. I don't know. But this is the Ascension to 10 podcast. So we do rate movies on an 11-point scale, 10 being the best thing you've ever seen, and then Ascension being the worst thing you've ever seen. So that's how the scoring system works. The last, Bry, what was the last movie you were on? Was
what was it?
Mission Masters of the Universe. That's right.
Yeah.
You gave it a 3.69.
Yeah.
And we gave it 3.4s. This is Phantom.
Man.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think about the score that I was going to give it. I'm trying to think of Masters. Refresh me on Masters of the Universe. Give me like a 2-sentence.
Well, that was the Dolph Lundgren one. He was super strong, and then Skeletor showed up, and he had to parade by himself. Yeah. And then there was Gimligel, and he was like, "I can't make anything." I don't know.
Yeah. I remember that. Okay. Yep. It's all coming. Okay, and I gave that a 3.69.
3.69.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then I probably got to give this one 4.69 because
4.69. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because I felt like this one was more, even though there was some continuity error in it, I felt like the other one they just gave up. If I'm comparing Masters of the Universe,
they ran out.
They literally
ran out of money. This one they had way too much money.
They had way too much money, and they used it. They used it on the FX, and they, the VFX and the actors and actresses weren't. It wasn't bad acting per se. I just think that the story didn't have a whole lot of like continuity and depth to it. So
that's true.
It sits like sub 5 for me.
Yeah. Well, I always say 5 is kind of like it's a good movie. You probably rewatch again. I'm a guess. You saw this, so I don't think you'd watch it again. Maybe you would. I don't know. You're at that level. I ever will. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. The one thing I will say is the music is a redeeming quality on this. Like they had a pretty good soundtrack. Like they had some good overtures kind of overlaying. The music never distracted from the film. So we've had some other films where like the music doesn't connect with the film and stuff. Yeah. I'm going to give this a 4.2. So I'm right there with you.
Okay.
So I do think it's a little bit better than obviously like Masters of the Universe. I agree.
Yeah.
So I think we're kind of in that same lockstep. I don't know. It was just kind of a funny, ridiculous film. Obviously we know there's not going to be another one. And I don't think
I can appreciate that they went for it. Like somebody came up with that storyline. Somebody dreamt. I think about that kind of stuff all the time. Like when you think about how well movies are put together, they've got to come from a scratch, like some sort of scratch sheet of paper that was not that at some point. And I feel like this one maybe just didn't get the refining that was necessary in order to make it fully congruent, but they felt it was strong enough and probably were able to have the budget and recruit the actors and actresses to make it entertaining, which it was.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, it was worth it. It was fun. It had some nostalgia to it just because I feel like we all remember that movie. So it was worth taking a look at. So no, that's our review of Phantom. So hope you all enjoyed it. Before I forget, you guys can find us on our socials. That's Ascension, the number 2 TEN on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And then our YouTube page at Ascension to 10 Podcast. And then if you have any recommendations, any typical days, any stories you want to tell us, you can find us at ascension210.com, and you can email us at boys@ascension10. But I think that's puts this one in the books.
Put that one in the books, baby. Yeah, of course.
I will maybe add something after. I don't know what our next movie will be for sure, but we will let you know.
Yeah.
So, until next time, that's Bry. I'm Jad. That's Spenny. I'm not Jad. I'm Spenny.
Jad is gone. Jad was never
Jad's
here.
gone. He's never come back.
He's totally got a replacement now.
Yes, and congrats, Jad, on little baby Sloane. So
yes.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
See ya.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascension to 10.